Hi, and welcome back to Purple Collar Life. In today's video, we've got some excavator work to do, and I'm going to talk to you about two things that are pretty important to know about excavators, especially this Takeuchi, that I looked all over the internet and couldn't find the answer to. I've got those answers. We'll talk through those two things. The steel MS-261 continues to impress me. This is one of those junk logs, doesn't make any good firewood, really no good purpose for it for me. I just needed to break it up in pieces so I can use the mini-X, move it out of the way, and it has a purpose in the woods. It can rot away and then critters can live inside it. So yesterday was the start of a big move. Mackenzie's in her second year at college now, and this year she has an apartment. Yesterday we just got the keys. We made our first trip over to the apartment hauling some of the basics. She got her bed over there, a little bit of household items, and mostly just getting the lay of the land to figure out how much space we have for things like television stands, a desk for her to work at, stuff like that. So yesterday we enjoyed this new milestone of moving Mackenzie's stuff into her first apartment. Mackenzie's not a fan of real wood, so she's currently in the process of refinishing this little table. The experience of packing some stuff into the 6x12 trailer here and hauling it over to Mackenzie's apartment was definitely a unique feeling. It's kind of like excitement for her that she's moving into a place for the school year that's not a dorm, but also kind of sad for us that it's just another step towards adult living that she's taking at this point. We're very proud of her. She had a great school year last year, and we're excited about the things to come in the future. But it is that adjustment period, kind of one of those weird times in life where it's both exciting and scary, sad, emotional all at the same time. We're actually making another trip over there today, but first I wanted to get a couple things done with the mini-X. It's going to be a hot one today. It's already about 80 and it'll get above 85 today, so it's nice to have the air-conditioned cab. When I was mini-excavator shopping, I was looking for a used machine that was in like-new condition. I wasn't really specific on whether I wanted the open station or the cab version, just whatever I could find kind of in my price range. This one ended up being a little bit more than my price range, but it was such a great deal I couldn't pass it up. And now that I have it, I know how nice it is to have that cab. The air conditioning on days like today is a really nice feature. Get the fan going, push the button for the AC. Take it off of eco mode while it cools down. An excavator is one of those things that you want to let it warm up a little bit before you use it. You want it to warm up and pump that hydraulic fluid around. So we're going to let that warm up a minute. We did finally get some rain. We desperately needed it. If you have one of these Takeuchis and you're wondering how to drive a little faster, on the right-hand joystick, the trigger button lets you go a little bit faster when you're moving from one place to another. Now, if it senses a load, it'll automatically gear down to the lower range. But that's the trick to moving a little bit faster. You're not going to win any races in this thing, but at least you can go a little bit faster. A couple days ago, I pulled all the brush out of here. It was an invasive species. I wanted to get rid of that, so I took it back to the burn pile. I started burning at it yesterday during the rainstorm, But back behind it was this log that fell down. I want to get this moved out of the way, maybe clear a little bit more deep into the woods. I've got a big crab apple in there that I wouldn't mind knocking down. Couple crab apples actually. But what I was wondering about is the thumb and the bucket. So I've kind of always wondered this with a mini-X like ours that has a hydraulic thumb and the bucket. When you're trying to grab something like this log, I know that if it were a mechanical thumb, you'd set it in a position, you'd curl the bucket up to that mechanical thumb to pinch whatever in place and then move it around. But with the hydraulic thumb, what I was finding as I was moving this log a little bit last time just to get that brush out of there and then grabbing some brush with the bucket and the thumb, was that I would put the thumb down and then the bucket would overpower it and push the thumb up. And I was worried that I was potentially damaging this hydraulic cylinder, because you wouldn't want to push against a cylinder that has pressure in it. So I did a lot of digging on the internet and I could not find very good answers. So I did one step better. I called the dealership of the manufacturer that sells these Takeuchis, and I'll let you know what he said and what the best process is for using the hydraulic thumb and the bucket as pinchers to pick things up. So when I called that Takeuchi dealer, my question to him was, when you start grabbing something with the bucket and the thumb, should you be first curling the bucket and running it up and then putting the thumb down, or is it better to first push the thumb to push stuff towards the bucket? And he said, actually, you can do it either way. And there is a pressure relief cylinder. So you can see once I start curling the bucket and the thumb's down, what's happening is the thumb is retracting as I curl the bucket. Now that is because of the pressure relief valve in the system that allows the thumb to retract when the bucket curls in. I don't want to walk too close. I don't know if you'll be able to see, but there are a lot of hornets right there. They must have actually been in that log that I cut. I don't know if you first saw when I cut through that log with the chainsaw, there was a lot of water that came out of it. That surprised me. But it turns out that was also infested with bees. We're gonna back out of here. I still got some cleaning to do along here. There's some more of that invasive species junk that I want to push out of the way. Got a big crab apple tree here that I'd like to get rid of. And that actually takes us up to what used to be a pathway through the woods here. I saved this nice flat rock from being there in the edge of the woods. We're gonna use it for something else, but just so I can mow, I'll set it just off the side here so it's out of the way for mowing. Make sure we get the cab door shut so those hornets don't discover how to get to the person that disrupted their nest. And while we're doing this, I'll talk to you about the other thing that I couldn't find any answers to on the internet. So while I had the Takeuchi dealership on the phone, I wanted to ask about my battery. I mentioned in a previous video, the battery in this Takeuchi goes dead, like completely dead, won't even try to turn the machine over if I don't run this machine at least every 2 or 3 days. And when I called the dealership, it only took them about 4 seconds to know exactly what my problem was. So since I know now, I figured I would share that information with you guys, because some of you might have the same exact issue and wonder why your battery always goes dead. Now, I don't know if this is Takeuchi specific, but what the dealership said is, you know, these machines are commercial grade. They're made to be run frequently, but there also is a safety system in them where this machine is always being tracked so that if it were stolen, it would be easy to locate. And that device in this machine does use battery power. So depending on how difficult it is to find signal, just like with your cell phone, if you're in a steel building and it's constantly looking for signal, that uses more of your battery power than if it has easy signal. Whenever this is somewhere like in the woods where we live, or in our metal building, it uses more of the battery to send that signal up to Takeuchi's computer system to track where this machine is at all times, so that if it were stolen, they could find the progression of where it was, how it got there. So that is why my battery goes dead. I don't use this machine every day. I use it maybe once a week, maybe once every 3 weeks. And what the dealership said to do is go ahead and throw this on a trickle charger. So I've done that, and of course it works perfectly every single time now. It just means I've got to be parked within range of a trickle charger. So that's good information to know. There's not something wrong with my machine that's making the battery dead. It's actually a feature of Takeuchi's that if this were stolen, it'd be easier to track. It also feeds data up to the Takeuchi cloud system, where if I wanted to buy the app, I could actually, see any maintenance reminders. The other question I asked is about this tag thumb. You can see I've got this much of the cylinder that never retracts all the way, and I always feel like the thumb should go a little bit further up towards the stick. But he said until he took a look at it, he wouldn't know if that's not working for sure, or if that's just how it's supposed to be. Maybe that's all the further it's supposed to go. It does go down quite a ways, so maybe this is just all the further it goes up. But it seems like this unpainted part of the cylinder should retract further into the rest of the body of the cylinder. It's now time to get the truck connected to the trailer to take another load of stuff to Mackenzie's apartment. Like I said, we are both excited and a little bit emotional about this move for her. Thanks for watching. If you found this video informative and entertaining, we'd appreciate if you'd give us a thumbs up, leave those comments down below. Did you know, for example, about the pressure relief that would allow the bucket to push the thumb up so it doesn't ruin this cylinder and the hydraulic system? And did you also know you should feather your thumb while you're curling your bucket to help that pressure relief valve not have to work so hard? And then the last thing, because like I said, I looked all over the place for these answers and I wasn't able to find them very easily. Did you know that your battery would discharge from that tracking system that's built into the machine? Thanks for watching. Hopefully we'll see you again the next time.
Yes.